Stress Awareness Month has been observed in April since 1992. It's our opportunity to talk about the negative impacts of stress alongside the proactive steps that we can all take to prevent it becoming a problem. Little by Little, which is this year's theme, highlights that even the smallest acts of self-care and stress reduction can yield significant improvements in mental health over time. With that in mind, I invite you to lean in, pay attention, and most importantly, keep watching till the end. Because in this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 trains of thought for manageable adjustments that you can make to your daily routine that will help you to reduce stress and avoid burnout. But firstly, what is stress, and is it always a bad thing? Well, the short answer is no. Stress itself is actually a natural response to a recognized threat. It's controlled by the sympathetic arm of our autonomic nervous system and regulates our flight, fight, or freeze response. When we sense danger, the sympathetic nervous system takes over, keeping us alert and ready to react quickly. All of which are great traits to have at your disposal if you want to stay alive. In addition, the hormones associated with stress have a number of uses in everyday life. This could be anything from the cortisol required to raise our heart rate and body temperature to get us out of bed in the morning, to the adrenaline we feel before something like a job interview or presentation. The trouble is that although neuroceptively we can tell the difference between an important meeting and nearly being hit by a car, introceptively the sensation is indistinguishable. That is to say that if you are constantly in a high pressure, stressful environment, either at work, at home, or a combination of the two, your body will increasingly be operating out of survival mode, the rigors of which over an extended period of time come with significant consequences. Chief among them is the loss of our ability to self-regulate, commonly referred to as burnout. In the workplace, burnout is defined as feelings of energy depletion and exhaustion combined with increased mental distance or feelings of cynicism related to your job. Burnout is the body's way of resetting our nervous system. We are forced to disconnect, withdraw, and conserve energy. According to American author and psychologist Stephen Porges, this part of the survival response can be traced back millions of years to tactics used by our smaller mammalian ancestors. When being chased down by a much larger predator, freezing was sometimes the best option to avoid detection and stay alive. The downside for us is that once somebody experiences burnout, it can take months and in some cases years to recover, and the impact is palpable, to the tune of 17.1 million working days lost every year, which accounts for 54% of all working days lost due to work-related ill health. So, how do we start to address this issue and avoid some of the negative impacts of stress? First off, we need to remember that the habits, environment, and relationships a person is exposed to are likely to have played a significant role in the lead up to an episode of burnout. We should also be aware that the various causes of stress, alongside the way it can present in an individual, is completely unique. However, the function and structure of the brain is common to us all. It ensures our survival by generating internal signals that registers what our body needs. It creates maps of the world to point us where to go to satisfy those needs, alongside generating the necessary energy and actions to get us there. It also warns us of dangers and opportunities along the way, and helps us to adjust our actions based on the requirements of the moment. Located in the brainstem, the reptilian brain is responsible for all the things a newborn baby can do. The brainstem itself, together with the hypothalamus which sits just above it, work together to control the cardiorespiratory, endocrine, and immune systems to maintain the internal balance known as homeostasis. They control things that are so fundamental to our existence that they are easily overlooked, and in some cases neglected. However, if your sleep is disturbed due to things like too much screen time, caffeine, and a lack of hydration, or you're constantly hungry and find that your energy levels tend to peak and trough throughout the working day due to a poor diet, we can quite easily become irritable, lose focus, and find it hard to keep a sense of perspective. That is to say that on the road to addressing stress and avoiding burnout, we must first attend to the basic housekeeping functions of the body. Another thing to consider is your ability to hover calmly and objectively over your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Mindfulness allows our rational brain to inhibit, organize, and modulate the automatic responses pre-programmed into our emotional brain. When functioning properly, this pathway is the reason why we don't lose our temper every time an experience falls short of our expectation. However, when stressed out, our capacity to be mindful is diminished, which erodes our ability to self-regulate and over time can have a negative impact on our relationships. To put this in perspective, a speech from former Coca-Cola CEO Brian Dyson gives us a great analogy. He describes the 5 balls of life: work, friends, family, health, and integrity. The work ball is made of rubber and will bounce back if dropped. The other 4 are made out of glass and need to be given more care and attention. The point here is that we have more control than we realize. If you're juggling too many things at once, it only guarantees that at some point, one ball will drop and you won't have a choice over which one. Lest we become more proactive at recognizing the different sources of stress we have in our lives, learn how to prioritize them based on our spheres of influence, and become more mindful of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, what affects them, alongside the helpful coping strategies that we can use to prevent stress from becoming a problem. We also need to appreciate the different ways that people can experience and react to stress. For example, the stress response releases a range of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. We also release a hormone called oxytocin. Commonly referred to as the love drug, oxytocin is associated with trust, sexual arousal, and relationship building. Unlike estrogen, however, testosterone suppresses the effects of oxytocin, meaning that in general, men are naturally less inclined to want to reach out to others for support when stressed. Case in point, just 32% of those referred to NHS talking therapies from 2021 to 2022 were men. Depending on factors such as our age, country of origin, neurodivergence, and in this case gender, our view of stress, along with the way that we deal with it, can vary significantly. Therefore, the more options we have to support ourselves and others, the easier it becomes to create a working environment that's conducive to mitigating the impact of stress. This includes well-known models such as the stress container or Yerkes-Dodson curve, which help us to view our problems objectively and visualize the relationship between stress and performance. Sources of professional help that you can signpost to, such as the Hub of Hope or an employee assistance program, and opportunities for professional development, which raise awareness and help to make the conversation about the impact of stress in the workplace more accessible. And if that last one sounds of interest, I invite you and your teams to join me on Wednesday, April the 10th from 12:30. I'll be hosting a live webinar to go on a deep dive and expand on the options that you have as business leaders, managers, and employees to tackle stress and burnout in the workplace and beyond. More specifically, we'll be talking about workplace adjustments, professional support, and pathways to professional development. Use the link in the description of this video to register, and I look forward to seeing you all on the day.